Never thought our love would last for so long.
Hey, this is George Lynch, and you're listening to That Metal Interview Podcast.
Again, I thought that you would be gone.
Welcome back, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us once more. Our next guest is a guitar phenomenon, a guitar monster, as I would label him. He is one of the top 3 best guitarists of all time in my eyes, in my opinion, my 2 cents, of course. I am speaking of George Lynch, a former DOKKEN, Lynch Mob, presently amongst a lot of other bands and projects, KXM, Sweet and Lynch, and a bunch of other badass projects and music. So he has a new album out by the title of Babylon. It'll be out October 20th. Frontiers Music SRL. And here is one of the newest videos and songs and singles from Lynch Mob by the name of Time After Time. Enjoy. Don't forget to pick up a copy of Babylon, pre-order Frontiers Music SRL. Although in the interview he says it's Rat Pack Records, but I believe it's Frontiers Music SRL, as the video says that. So, but I'm pretty sure you can find the album through the Lynch Mob socials and this and that, right? So he also has an instrumental record, Guitars at the End of the World. Isn't that a catchy title? That's just badass also. So support Mr. Lynch. And earlier this year in May, he released, along with Michael's Suite of Striper, a brand new album as well. Of course, the name of the project is Sweet and Lynch. Heart and Sacrifice is the newest release, and you can find it through their socials. Seek and look for Michael Sweet or George Lynch on socials, Sweet and Lynch, if you will, and you can find it there. Support the guys, support all these musicians, as that will help all types of expenses and this and that, right? So anyways, enough talking, and let's go directly to the interview with the guitar phenomenon, the guitar hero, George Lynch. Check it out. I'll keep it short. I know it's a small length of time for such a long career, right?
Crammed 69 years in 20 minutes. Yeah, it's hard.
Right. So first question I ask my guests, where are you at? What part of the globe?
Right now I'm in Southern California.
Badass weather for sure, right?
Yeah. Where are you at?
I'm in Texas, about 2 hours from San Antonio.
Oh, nice. We split our time between Southern California and Taos, New Mexico. So
Okay.
and our favorite place is Taos. So
Okay,
like
cool.
out there.
So I've been a fan since I heard It's Not Love, Under Lock and Key, and then Dream Warriors and all that. So thank you for their great music, Awesome career.
Thank you.
Do you still own that skeleton guitar?
Well, yeah. There's I build them.
Okay.
I build a version. Yeah, and I have a shop, and I've had a business, Mr. Scary Guitars, and I've had that for about 12 years. And I build my current version of that guitar. So yeah, I have a version of it. I don't have the original.
Okay, that's good enough.
The version that I build now sounds a lot better and is much more playable, and I believe much cooler looking than the original. The original was sort of just a kind of a mashup of parts that were just thrown together. It started it all and it was cool, but it didn't sound very good and it was hard to play. It didn't play very well. So the one I make now is actually very, very playable.
Wow.
Anyways.
Technology, I guess, huh? Nice. So I saw an interview a couple years ago or last year where you said either your kids, they weren't aware of who you are. They don't know you're a famous guitar player. Is that so?
Well, they're semi-aware of who I am or whatever, what my job is, but it's not like they're tuned into it, and really I'm just dad, and I'm, day to day hanging out doing what all dads and families do, and then really rock and roll doesn't enter into it too much, it's just more my job. So if they've had the opportunity to see me play in my environment, go to a concert or something, they're kind of, wow, holy shit, we never saw this side of dad.
Wow, that's quite a life to lead as one of your kids, to have a rock star father. Very cool. I spoke to
Little rock star possible.
I spoke to Richie Faulkner a couple of months ago, and he mentioned you were checking out Michael Schenker on the cruise, and you're a fan, I guess, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too many guys that do what I do that don't love Michael Schenker. I mean, he's one of those more contemporary. For me, he's more contemporary of an influence than, let's say, my earlier influences like Hendrix and Beck and Clapton and Page. He's another generation younger than them, but just had an equally strong influence on my playing. Listening to all that stuff back in the 70s. A live version of Strangers in the Lights Out on Strangers in the Night. I mean, oh my God.
UFO, yep.
Lost it after that, and all this. And Michael self-admittedly based a lot of his stuff. I mean, his biggest influence was Leslie West.
Okay.
And Leslie West's huge influence on me as well. Mountain, grew up with that.
Mountain,
wow.
And he's such a cool guy. I spoke to him about 2 years ago. He was promoting a record, and he's just a super nice guy. You would never know he's a rock star, you know, a legendary talent. He's just a super nice guy. Have you talked to him in person? Of course you have, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've done a couple tours with him, and we've had connections personally throughout our lives. But yeah, I think most people that are they do what we do are not. We don't live in a rock star bubble. We just, this is our job, and that's what we do.
Right.
It's the way it's different maybe, but I just lead an ordinary life, and it just happens to be what I do. So
yeah, you're
true for
you're human. Yeah, I guess some people think you always have a guitar strapped on, and we can't picture you driving a car or doing errands or whatever, or cooking or whatever. You're human, right?
More of a soccer dad than anything else.
Very cool. So you are human. So you guys have been doing a couple of Lynch Mob gigs. How's that going so far?
Right. I mean, we very consistent band, and and I love the band. With Gabriel Colon on vocals, fantastic, unique vocalist, and Jaron Galino from Hinder on bass. He felt his life purpose is to play with us and be in Lynch Mob, which is kind of a weird thing to aspire to, I think. But anyways, he fills the role magnificently. And then Jimmy DeAnda, of course, long-term super good friend, and we've been playing together for many decades.
Bullet Boys
on drums. Yeah. And so it's a really tight-knit group. We really all love each other, enjoy each other's being around each other, and we have fun, and yet we kick ass every night. We're very confident, and we go out and take care of business on a regular basis.
Yep.
So it's a really solid situation, and I love this iteration of the band.
So how did you find Gabriel? How did that come about?
Actually through Rat Pack
I'm
Records.
sorry.
The president over there, Joe Ryan, made me aware of him, and I had apparently talked to Gabriel before, and but I think I just lost focus or something. I don't know. I'm a busy guy, and I got a lot of things going on. I think I just got sidetracked, and he fell off my radar. So he was up for the gig a couple times, but we just, like I said, I kind of messed up and didn't see it. But this last time around, he came up to the house, and we sat around with, acoustic guitars and bongos and just jammed the songs, and, he just sat there on a stool and blew us all away. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, badass, yeah.
And just a saint of a person. He's just a beautiful human being, just wonderful, sweet. He's shy, he's kind, he's funny, and he's very quiet. It took him a while to come out of his shell, but he rules that stage like a lord. I mean, he's very confident on stage, and you wouldn't think that when you meet him, because he's very, very self-effacing and very soft-spoken.
Yeah.
But his alter ego comes out on stage.
Nice. Yeah, very talented, of course. So Babylon, October 20th, Rat Pack Records. How many jams are you guys doing on this tour, George? How many new tracks?
We do. Well, right now we've got 2 songs, Time After Time and The Sinner, in the set. We do those every night. And those have been in the set since we wrote them, way before the album's even thought about being released or anything. So, and people love it. So it's gone over really well. And I think we're going to add another song or 2 in the next couple of months off the record. I think Caught Up, and I'm not sure what the 4th one is. But anyways, yeah, we're working on it. Slow process, incorporating new songs into the set, because we've got to rehearse them up and relearn them.
Yeah.
And all that kind of.
Yeah, you mentioned a rehearsal. So do you guys rehearse at sound checks, or do you guys actually hold a band rehearsal?
We haven't rehearsed that often, but we have rehearsed, but very infrequently. The band is so good that I used to be a rehearsal freak. Everything had to be, I had to rehearse for weeks and weeks and weeks before you do anything. And I really found I don't know why, but and then when I finally let that go, it was actually exhausting. So it was kind of liberating to let that go, and actually just. I'm really surprised at how unnecessary that is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what you're doing, and you just get out of your own way and let, even playing, for instance, me, I've been playing my guitar for 59 years.
Wow.
If you're not good enough by then you never will be. So,
right.
A lot of times you just exhaust yourself and blow all your whole wad at rehearsal. You want to save it up for the...
Right. Yeah, I play some guitar myself here in Texas. Just local stuff, nowhere near professional or like you, right? Of course. And rehearsals, I agree. It's just a waste of time, and the musicians should do their homework at home. If there's one practice, well, it should all click together. If not, it's not going to click, right? I agree. Yeah, it's just stressing. Yeah.
Obviously, a place for rehearsals. I mean, if you're working up new material or you're playing with people you don't know or it's a new situation, then yeah, that's important. And I will say that, early Lynch Mob years, I mean, we were way over rehearsed, but you know what? It paid off. We fucking killed it, So I'm not saying it's not a thing you should do. Of course, it would be, I guess, an ideal world, but when you've been playing together with somebody for a long time, I mean, you already know what you're going to do. If you're playing songs and you're playing with people
yeah,
you get a good back in. Maybe what we'll do sometimes is we'll bring out our little battery amps and drumsticks and bongos, and we'll just practice in a hotel room too. We'll do that if it's necessary.
Oh yeah.
And better way to practice, because you really hear all the mistakes instead of being in a room playing with loud amps.
Yeah.
When you're just acoustic guitar quietly and you're playing, you really hear. You can really focus on the songs and what if you're making any mistakes or not, and concentrate on your harmonies and the changes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When you're writing a new Lynch Mob record, George, do you prepare yourself mentally with a certain vibe, or do you listen to other bands or guitar players or watch a movie, or do you just go fresh with whatever comes out?
No, I don't do any preparation. I mean, I have a lot of ideas cataloged that I can refer back to if I need, some resources or some ideas. But other than that, I just write the way I've always written, which way I wrote the first Wicked Sensation album. Is just
awesome. Yeah.
Whatever in my head, and then you take it from there. And then as you work through the album, you've got, let's say, half of it written, then you start having to look a little more critically at what the new stuff you're coming up with, because you want to have a balanced record. You don't want to have everything sound the same. So, I need something faster here, or I need something in a different key, a different tempo, or a different vibe, or whatever. You start filling in the whole. That's about it. I don't think beyond that. I don't think too much about it.
Give us your favorite track on this album.
Was it How They Fall?
Okay.
Called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badass. Any Texas dates where we can see Lynch Mob, or maybe people listening in Mexico or in other countries?
Man, I mean, I'll tell you, Texas is kind of one of our mainstays.
Yeah.
As far as touring, we go there a lot. There in Florida, and then the Northeast, and then of course the Southwest. Those are the four regions we're strongest in, and up in the Chicago area, Midwest, upper northern, Midwest. But we haven't been to Texas in a second, so yeah, no, we're overdue to go there, and we were talking about that recently. So we're looking at building something out there. I was just talking to my agent yesterday about that. So yeah, we're overdue. Yeah, we need to get out there and play Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. Yeah,
for sure. You got a lot of fans over here, for sure. You also have solo record, Guitars at the End of the World. Are you guys doing any jams from here, from the solo record, live?
No, we're not. The thing with that is, it's an instrumental record, so it doesn't give the singer anything to do.
Yeah.
We're already doing Mr. Scary in the set, and he walks off the stage for that, and that's fine. We're doing an hour and a half show, we give the singer a break. But having two instrumentals in the set, I don't know if that might be too much.
Yeah.
But we're thinking about it. But then it gets back to that rehearsal thing. So.
Right. Again, I saw the video of the making of this record. Right. Where's the studio at? Is this your studio or is this somewhere else? The making.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, this is it. Okay. This is the same place.
more than one studio. There was a studio up in Northern California. There's Henson Studios here in Hollywood, and then some of it is shot at my studio here at home, my home studio, which is where I'm at now. So yeah, there was, I don't know which shot you're referring to, but there was a number of studios in that.
Okay.
That we,
Very cool. Looks like a music store. Looks like a Guitar Center or one of those. Awesome.
basically wallpaper. I got a lot more guitars than I need, that's for sure.
Badass. So who are the musicians that recorded Guitars at the End of the World?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Okay, it's okay.
Tony Franklin on bass, or was that the first? Was that Seamless? I don't remember. What it'll say on the record, I mean, I could look it up. But
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like Bitches Be Trippin'. I like that. It's got a 70s kind of funky feel.
Oh yeah, like a little war action going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, where'd that come? Do you listen to that kind of music too, or where'd that come from?
Absolutely. Favorite movie of all time, Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, but I did the project Infidelica with Angelo Moore and Pablo. I'm sorry, Pancho. Pancho's in War. And so Our Power, and then so there was that influence. So yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, I'm an R&B guy, man.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with, blues and R&B, and then rock and roll came along. So yeah, that's deep in my veins.
Is there any music people in your family? I guess. Where did you get your talent from? Maybe your father, an uncle, somebody in your family.
Well, my dad was a very. He was a musical person without being a musician. We always had lots of we had a lot of music around us all the time. Very deep music, classical and jazz and blues and all kinds of different stuff, and reel-to-reel tapes. And my dad was sort of an audiophile, amateur audiophile, and musicologist. And my mom too was a great music appreciator and aware of a lot of just great music, and exposed me to that stuff and encouraged me in some ways. So, but yeah, my dad did a lot of whistling and bongo playing. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Another qualification. But he would force us, the kids, to do all these to whistle constantly, and which is a lost art, by the way.
Yeah.
And also to circles, so with trash cans whenever you're laying around, which we enjoyed a lot. And I like to think, I thought about this a lot. I think I'm more of I play guitar very percussively. I think of guitar playing in more of a drummer sense than a guitar player sense.
True.
I think more for playing the notes the way my fingers hitting the fretboard in a way. I think in terms of a drummer.
Yeah.
And of course the notes are important too, but that's almost secondary.
It's percussive, yeah.
So maybe I picked that up from my early.
Yeah, I notice you, of course, use a pick, but I can see where you might be using half pick and then half finger, and just you're back and forth, and that's cool. It's just awesome style right there.
A lot more options that way, a lot more flavors and different inflections and dynamics when you're using both, of course.
Yeah, you got a lot of projects where we can't cover everything. I wanted to touch up on Sweden Lynch. Heart and Sacrifice with Michael Sweet. That's a badass album. Badass stuff. Do you guys write that via emails, or do you guys get together and jam, or?
All done remotely. The first record was not done remotely. That was a band kind of thing with Brian Tichy and James Lomenzo.
Yeah.
Over the ensuing records, we hadn't had that luxury. We've been forced to kind of do things remotely, which has worked out fine. It's the way a lot of people do records these days, and I don't know that it's a bad thing. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell by listening to it. Really.
Any tour plans with Sweden Lynch? Some people are asking,
Yeah. For any of my projects, side projects, The only band I tour with is Lynch Mob. I do guest with DOKKEN
Yeah.
here and there. Other than that, that's it. I have done, the only exception to that is Project Infidelica did some touring, not a lot, but did some limited touring, and then the End Machine did 3 shows. But we did do it just to say we did it. Souls of We, it was a long time ago. That did a little. Actually, we did some tours with Souls of We. Actually, some Bonafide got in the vehicles and went out, pulled trailers, and fucking slug it out. We did a couple tours.
Yeah.
But generally nowadays, all that stuff is pretty much the Banishment and the End Machine, Sweet Lynch. I don't tour that stuff because it's too challenging. I mean, I already have a band.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'd have to that band to do a different band, and so I only want to really support one band at a time.
Yeah. There's a lot of projects. Yeah. How about there's this project you did called Ultraphonics with Corey Glover. It's some good music there. Anything an update on that?
Well, that was Ultraphonics was really the second Project Infidelica record.
Okay.
Away from we got Corey instead of Angela Moore, but we felt it was so different that we needed to change the name. So, Project Infidelica was very experimental and strange and almost Mr. Bungle-ish. It was just really awesome. And then the thing we did with Corey was a lot more just straight up rock, and so we couldn't call it Project Infidelica.
Okay.
But we, those are all one-offs. I mean, they were all great experiments, but not to be relived.
Yeah.
They're just moments in time, and like snowflakes kind of melt and go away, and appreciate them for a moment in time.
Yeah, good music. One quick question: how is your relationship going with Don Dokken and Jeff Pilson and Mick? You still in touch with those people? Don, of course, but how's that going so far?
Well, Don and I get along together great. I mean, we do shows together, as I mentioned, and everything's water under the bridge. Everything's been fine for many, many years. Jeff and I are neighbors, and we work very closely together and love each other, and love working together and writing together and recording records. So we try to come up with as many projects as possible. We've got a Heavy Hitters record that came out earlier this year, the second one, on Cleopatra Records. Obviously, we get the third the End Machine record is in the can, and will be coming out early. So we're very good friends, and as I said, we both have our own studios, and we work together at each other's studios and put out as many records as we can together. And then Mick he hung it up. He quit playing. Sold his kits and had enough. As physically couldn't, he was taking a beating, like probably mentally too in a lot of ways. So it's not easy, especially for a drummer. It's so physical to do that all your life, and you just start hurting and everything. So he hung it up, but we use his brother. His brother plays drums with us, Steve Brown, he's great, and he's sounds very much like his older brother, and same personality and everything, and he's great. And so he plays drums in the End Machine. Played on. Brother picked up the torch, and so he's also in Tesla.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Talent for sure, just like Mick. He's awesome. Bombastic character, the same, right?
Yeah, he's a bruiser. He just, big, thick grooves. I love it.
So what's next for you? What's next on your agenda, George, after this interviews? What's going on in your life? Do you got rehearsals? I know you got a couple of gigs coming up.
Oh, I'm marrying a daughter off, and the nuts and bolts of what I do every day. I have a guitar shop. I'm going to be going over to the guitar shop later today and working on some guitars. And I'm in my studio. I'm doing stuff in there, and I've got a lot of business, on the phone, this and that. I do interviews every morning for the new Lynch Mob Babylon record, as well as the instrumental record that's out, Guitars at the End of the World.
Yeah.
And so it's just a combination of business, a lot of family stuff, and a lot of my business stuff.
Very cool. You're a busy guy, so you're super busy. So we'll let you do what you're doing, and appreciate your time, George. We'll see you in Texas soon, maybe sometime.
Hey, we'll see you before the end of the year. Thank you for the interview.
Awesome, thank you, George. What a down-to-earth person. Very nice, noble, non-rock star. Very, very cool person. You would never think he is a guitar monster and a guitar legend and guitar icon, as cool of a guy he is. So thank you, George, for making time and chatting with us here at That Metal Interview Podcast. Your friend James in Texas, thanks you. And of course, all the listeners, thank you guys and girls for being a part of the show once more. The fastest rising podcast on the planet Earth. Rock metal, that is. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell. Don't forget to follow us, share, download through any digital formats. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So thank you guys and girls. And don't forget to keep it metal.
That Metal Interview.